Hello. If you've made it this far, you've already done something meaningful. You've heard your child's story. You've let them be heard and known and seen, and you've helped them to write it down, type it up, or let them type it up, divide it into pages, and illustrate it. So today, hopefully you come with pages ready to be glued in to your book. Something like this. We're going to end today with something like this, with construction paper and your pages, all of your, 8.5 by 11 pages illustrated and sewn together. And then next week we'll create the hardback cover and we'll glue this in. We'll attach it to it so you'll have the full book. But today, when we finish, you'll have the story in a paperback version, really. A paperback version of your book, which will be is very exciting. So last week we made a mock-up book, which can be up to 8 pieces of paper, 8.5, I'm just going to review a little bit, 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. And then we put sticky notes in to say what should be on each piece of paper. The outside 2 pages are color pages and blank because they're going to end up being the parts that attach to your book. This is going to be attached to the hardback book, and then this is going to be your first page in your book. If it's easier for your child to see that, you can just take 2 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, or we have the 11 by 17. This was an 11 by 17 piece of paper. I just cut it in half and then folded them in half. So I have one 11 by 17 turned into 2 sort of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. So you really can take your first 2 of the 8 pages. I recommended you fold in half. The first 2 are really just your colored pages, so you can do that, and it's a little bit easier for you to figure out what you're using them for and for your child to understand. And then the white pages inside. So now when I went through and I labeled all of my pages, I had 4 extra pages at the end. So if that happens to you, go to the middle, take out the middle piece, and this middle piece is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper is 4 pages of your book. And that's exactly what I was over. I had 4 extra pages at the end of my book. So I just take that out, and everything else is the exact number that I need. Okay, so what if your book isn't exactly 4 pages too long or 4 pages too short? You have a lot of leeway with these beginning pages, with this first title page, and then I have this one blank, the second title page, the copyright page, the dedication page, and then I left this one blank because I like my book to start on the right-hand side and with this one blank. But none of that is a hard, fast rule. I just started a book yesterday, for me personally, that had, I think it had a blank white page here. And then on this, I call it the second title page because it has the title of the book and the author. But she also, on that page, the publisher, author, whoever did it, had the copyright information on that, the dedication on that, and everything was on that one piece of paper, the second, which I call the second title page. So it had the title of the book, the author, the copyright information, her dedication, and it had a short summary of the book, all on that one page. And that's all she did. She had this white blank page, and then she had this second title page and went straight into her story. So all this is optional. So it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages that you have to play with. You can condense them into 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Honestly, I don't have a very thick book, and so I'm making it longer by putting 1 on every page. So that's where we are. And so hopefully you have this. And I don't recommend you use any more than, see, this was 8 pieces of paper, 9 pieces of paper is your very, very max, because it's going to be hard to put tacks through all those. We're gonna make holes and sew them together, and it gets too hard. So mine ended up being 7 pages, and 7, that's counting these 2. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for my 20 page. When I say 20 page, that's including the title page, the blank, the second title page, you know, and I have 20 of those. And so this is the exact size that I need. Okay, so now that I have that, now I know that I need 2 colored pieces of paper and 5 white pieces of paper. That's what I know I need for my book, because I have my mock-up book. So I have my 2 colored pieces of paper here, and I'm going to fold them in half. And don't take all your pages and fold them all together. For some reason, they lay better if they are folded individually. It becomes a flatter book, which is what you want. You want the book to lay flat and not be bulky in the middle. So take each piece of paper, fold them in half individually, and then we'll nest them all together. So, you got that? I don't know if you're doing it with me or you're taking notes to do it on your own. Either way is good. It's all good. Okay, so now we'll nest them, put them inside one another. Easier said than done, right? It's not hard, but I'm making it look hard. Sorry. All right, so there we go. Got that. And then they go inside. I can't open it. Why can't I open it? There. Because I folded it really, really well. Right. So now I have my 5 pieces of white paper, my 2 pieces of construction paper. They're all 11 by 17 when we started. And now I'm going to go by my mock-up book and label all these so I don't accidentally glue the wrong page in. So first title page. Blank. Second title page. Copyright page. Dedication page. I put these all in order when I made these sticky notes. So that's blank, and then that's where my book starts. Lord, you know. And then you're intimately aware, and then a picture of the path. And the wings picture, and Too Wonderful it starts with. Wherever I go, umbrella picture. Cape picture, you formed me, you saw me, and a hands picture, and a single moment, and a bed picture. God, I invite you, and the kneeling picture, and I really didn't need this, but it just reminds me as I'm working on it that that's supposed to be blank. It's okay to leave it blank. So now, I open this up. I have the fold line already, and I get a piece of tape. And this is 2-inch masking tape, and you'll never see this. It's just reinforcing. It's reinforcing all the holes that we're about to make. So this is just Scotch, 2-inch Scotch tape. You can use 3M. I actually prefer 3M, and I couldn't find it. And then we have these great binder clips. once you're sure that it's really, really straight. Sorry, I took it out of the camera. Okay, that and that. And then I'll put one on the top to keep it from sliding up. That's probably too close to the middle. Should be. And this to keep it from sliding down. All right, so am I happy with that? It's a little high on the top. I'm happy with that. Okay, so there's my mock-up book. I mean, there's my book. I'm finished with my mock-up book. I have that. So soon, I'm not going to glue the pages in yet. I'm going to sew it together first because that's just really fun. So I have a piece of cardboard. It's the back of a calendar. This was the back of one of my calendars, and now I use it as the back of my, to support my book. So in the fold, we're going to make a hole. So I have little tacks and I ruined my tack. So I pushed a little too hard. So every 1/2 inch or so, roughly, we're just gonna put little holes. And it's not rocket science. Doesn't matter that much as long as it just goes all the way through. This is fun. And I have this hammer is a very lightweight. I call it my girly hammer. It's very lightweight. It's for small projects like this. It's not for building a house. It's easier for children to handle. It's easier for me to handle. So, we're not having to try to just lift a heavy hammer just to try to make these little tiny tack holes. We need some background music playing, don't we? Make this a book party. Okay. I think I've ruined a second tack. No big deal. Got lots of them. I like the orange ones. They're just pretty. And I think this last one at the end. Oh, that one decided to stay. Oh, yeah, look at that. I bent it on the end. So just make sure they've gone all the way through, and they have. Okay, we're getting really close. So now we have our carpet thread. This one is actually called upholstery thread. It's not quite as thick as carpet thread, which is easier to use. So it should be upholstery thread that we're using. It's called, I think I have Coats brand extra strong upholstery thread. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, I guess you can. Okay. And I have a really big embroidery needle, has a really big hole, and it's not a sharp end. So easier for kids to use, easier for me to use. I don't poke myself. So now we're going to start in the middle because we're going to end where we start and then tie a knot. So if you start at the top, the knot will sometimes come off and you'll see it when you're in your finished book. So I like to start on the back side, in the middle. Oh, I didn't make it very strong. That's okay. And go almost all the way through, go all the way through. So you have a little bit left there. What do I do with my tape? Take just a little piece of tape and tape it down. Now remember, all this is going to be glued to the inside of your book, so you'll never see this. You could, you know, you could write, I love me, or whatever you want. I love mom. None of that will be seen. Okay, so we did our first, go up or down, doesn't matter which way, and go down one. Oh, looks like I got a knot first thing. Yes, I did. Look at that. Takes a lot of skill to put a knot in it. There we go. It wasn't a knot. It was just a little tangled. Okay. There, get it all the way through. And then go up the next one. So we're not filling, we're only going to have every other. You know, it's going to, we have there and then nothing there. But we'll go down and then back up, and that'll fill in all the holes. Oh, I didn't tell you, I had measured my carpet thread to be 4 times the height of my book. I failed to tell you that because I pre-measured mine. So I went, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cut it there. I actually and I threw in a little extra so I don't, the worst thing is to run out. Didn't want to run out. And then so I'm doubling it. I'm sewing with it doubled. That makes it just very strong. It won't ever fall apart. So this is something kids can do themselves. You know, they can thread the needle, they can poke the holes. If it makes it easier to mark where you want the holes to be, I would mark on this side, so that, because this side you'll never see. The other side is the inside of the book. This is 2 pages will be here, so you'll see this. Okay, so now we're at the last hole. So turn it over and go back. So now you're opposite where you were before. So there's no string through there. And now there is. There's no string here, but now there is. So we're just going up and down, opposite where we were before. Yeah, and this is going to be great. It's going to be great. So excited to have my book finished. Okay, so now we're back where we started. And we'll go up. Nope, I didn't do a very good holes in some of them. It's okay though. I know where they're supposed to be, so. Which way am I going? Oh, this way. I'm going this way. Okay, and again, we're at the end. And we'll go back down. I think I left a little too much there. I feel like I'm really close to running out of thread. Like this probably should have just been an inch. Which I usually only do an inch, but I got a little generous with my thread at the beginning. So that's fine. We're gonna make it over there. Okay, so we're out the exact amount of thread that we needed. All right, and now we're gonna take our thread and just make a good knot, a tight, good knot. This is where a second person would put their finger there for me and keep it really tight, but this is where we should be doing this in person. That would be really fun. Do a class like this in person. Oh, and I need scissors, which I forgot, so excuse me. Get my scissors to cut that. All right. And that is the construction of the book. Yes, so I can take these off. Now we get to glue our pages in, and then we're finished. Oh, it goes really fast. All right. So it doesn't look pretty yet because this is our paperback book, but now I have our book right here. I have all my pages laid out. And title page, this is my title page. And I don't think I want to glue onto my, I'm going to glue it onto my book, but I got colored glue so you can see where I'm gluing. I'm just doing the edges. I don't want too much glue that it wrinkles, but I do want the edges. And I don't want any globs. I hope it doesn't bother you. I'm not a perfectionist. So, I'll just glue it on, eyeball it. And there's my first title page. And I'm leaving this one blank. So I'm going to leave that there so I don't forget. And then my second title page. There it is. There it is, my second title page. Now I can take this off. It's supposed to be blank. I'm not going to accidentally put a page on there, which I've done. I've made all these mistakes before. So, and we used to tape the pages on before we sewed it together, and we've had some problems with that. So we don't do that anymore. We sew it all together with it all labeled. This is my copyright page. I think I've made all the mistakes for you so that you don't have to make those mistakes. And remember, this is a project that you're doing with your child, for your child to be seen and heard. And so if little things like right here, the dedication page, if the dedication page is not quite, if it's up a little higher or down a little lower, ideally it lines up with this one on this side, and it's, aim to be closer to the middle and not towards the edge. We might trim these edges a little bit, but remember, if it's not, we're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for an heirloom, I call it heirloom, a keepsake. We're aiming for a keepsake. We're aiming for our child's voice to be heard, for them to feel seen and heard, and for their stories that are coming out of their hearts and their minds to be documented and remembered forever. It's just showing your child value for their thoughts, emotions, feelings, stories, imagination, all that. So perfection's not the goal. And in fact, when they're adults later and they go back and see these, they're gonna love every part of it. The quirkiness, the unevenness, the all that. Oh, that's blank. So then this is where my story starts. Those were all my, oh, that one wasn't glued in very well. One year we went back and we had this really pretty decorative tape, and we put decorative tape around every page, and that was really fun too. It looked really pretty. Okay, so here's my first story page. My glue stick's getting a little messy, and I don't want those clumps because they show up, don't they? All right. Okay, so these pages, I didn't want this picture to be a full page. I wanted it to be on the same page as the words. And so I shrunk it down to a 5x7, and then I cut it out and put the words on with it. And then I made another copy because I didn't want loose edges on my picture. So this is a copy of the words with the picture on it. So I think I told you before, I love playing in watercolor, and so I did all my pictures with watercolor on really thick watercolor paper. It was too thick for this book. So all of my pictures are copied onto notebook paper, copy paper, just so they move better with the book. Boy, I'm making a mess with my glue, aren't I? But it's so much fun. I have to say, this is more fun with kids than it is for me alone. I loved doing this with my kids, but I'm still enjoying it by myself too. Not as much as with kids, but I'm still enjoying. I still love hands-on projects. So let's see, get some of this extra glue off. Oh, now it's a little bit sideways. There we go. I think I might do that. I think I might get some little, I don't think I want decorative tape, but some kind of tape, and just tape all these edges down. I didn't have a problem with them before, but I think I just like them to be more secure. So I don't have that right now. I'll do that later. You can do that if you want, but you don't have to. We've never done that on our, well, I guess we did. We did one time. We did it to our books. As my kids got older, they different, they had different ideas, and that's good. Their input is so valuable. Okay. So just keep going. Getting everything in. umbrella picture. Oops. Cute picture. So this picture was my favorite of all my pictures, and so I decided to make this one the cover of my book. So that's when it's nice to have a copy machine, and I just made a copy of it. One for inside my book and one for the cover of my book. So I didn't create a new picture for the cover. My kids sometimes wanted to. Sometimes they wanted to just do one more picture, because that's really, I want to say that's the fun part, but all of it's the fun part. It's all fun. It's fun doing pictures. It's fun telling a story. It's fun, you know, it's fun putting it all together. This is a fun project, fun playing with a hammer. So, okay, and these were the same. These pictures, I wanted to do them, this, portrait versus landscape. I wanted to do this picture landscape, and then of course the book is portrait, so I put it on the copy machine, scaled it down to 5 by 7, cut it out, attached it to this page, and then copied it again. So this is sort of a copy of a copy of a copy, which is fine. It's all fine. If we wanted it professionally published, we would do Amazon publishing, but that's not what we're doing. We are doing something that I wrote, I illustrated, I made the book, and it's something I say that as your child can be proud of, and that's something they can say they did every part of it. They put it together. And there's a learning curve, they learn so much about all the parts of a book. I bet that before this, they probably never noticed that there was a copyright page. I'm out of that stick. I finished that whole glue stick. Let's see if I can use a little bit of this. Okay, I have more glue sticks. I just didn't put enough right here next to me, so. All right, so again, I copied that. I, shrunk that picture down, glued it on, and I need to go get another glue stick. And you get to see my feet. Sorry about that. I thought I was prepared, but God, I invite. That's this page. So have more than one glue stick ready, especially if you have more pages than me. I cut mine down, so it's only 20 pages. Now where you can see through the purple right now, that purple glue, when it dries clear. So, and then this is my final page. Okay, that's my final page. And then I have my blank page that's supposed to be blank. And then this is my last page, and this is the part that will attach to the book. So we're finished. Ta-da! So this is the insides of your book, of my book. And next week we will create I think I am going to get some kind of tape for around that. Next week we will create the hardcover and attach this book to this insides to the hardcover, and we'll have the completed hardback book. So very exciting. So come next week with your cardboard, your fabric, your contact paper, because we're also making a book jacket, the illustration cover of your book with the title on it. So I took that, I said while I was doing that I decided I wanted this to be the cover of my book. And so I took this title page, second title page with the title and my name on it. And I moved this over to the side because I saw that there was white space here. So I made the title right here where it's a little bit lighter. I made the title right here, and then the written by Ellen Weintraub, my name, I put it right here so you could see it. And then I just ran the copy of the painting through again on top of that second title page. And I came out with, which I don't have it in front of me, but I came out with a cover for my book. Well, it's not going to go on here. It's going to go on our book jacket. And you'll also come with a summary for the inside of your book jacket and about the author as the inside of your book jacket. So you don't have to come with that, but you can watch the video next week and see how we're doing it and then put it all together. So I look forward to working with you again next week and finishing up our books. So when the children see their pages all sewn together, I think once they see this finished, something shifts and they realize they've made something lasting. Right now they're looking and saying, I made a book. I made a book. So take some time this week while you're gathering your supplies and pulling everything together, but take time this week and read their book together. If they can read it, let them read it to you over and over and over again. If they can't read it yet, you read it to them over and over and over again. Let them hold it. Let them enjoy it and be proud of it right now. And in the next video, next week, I'll show you how to create the hardback cover, attach it to these pages, and make your book jacket. And then we'll celebrate your finished book. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to working with you again next week. Bye.